Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. In less than 24 hours, the Education Ministry will be rolling out the controversial double-track system, which will see senior high school students being tutored on a shift-like basis. While some have criticized the system, saying it will promote truancy, others have welcomed it. Already 423,000 students have been placed on this new system, which will see those on the green track go into school tomorrow. JoyNews' checks across the country shows scores of parents have thronged senior high schools as they frantically register their children for the new school year. We will be touching base with our correspondent for the latest. But let's start from Accra. We can hear from the Deputy Minister, Dr. Osei Oduchum.
If you're a parent and your child doesn't have green or gold on the acceptance letters, it means their school is single track, and therefore you should be prepared to really get your children to school. At this time, I will say that a number of people have done their self-placement. As of yesterday, we had 27,000 people who have done their self-placement out of 67. I know on average every day is 10,000, so I know today it may even jump, and parents are going to find schools for their children. But we have 423,000 students who have already been placed. Okay. Yeah, so those ones, they don't have to worry about. It's just a question of going to print. I know initially there were challenges, and thank God things are now moving fast. And I believe that people will have the opportunity. If you have purchased a scratch card or short code and there were challenges, if you have used it for 2 or 3, we've done it in such a way that now it's unlimited. So you can go back and use the same code and check and make sure your child goes to school this week.
How about the school? What kind of support have we already started disbursing funds to them to begin the operations?
Preparations to do just that. But you see, the interesting thing is that the pressure on them last year is different from this year. Because this year...
Double pressure, or?
No, less than that, half pressure. Because half of the students are going. Unlike last year, where they got all the students there at the same time. So a school that had 1,000 last year, maybe having 1,500, but only 750 are showing up in school. So in fact, there's less pressure on them at the opening this year around than last year, because half of the students are showing up. The good news is that since the last 2 weeks, schools have received all their foodstuffs. Food has gone. Everything they need to start cooking is there. But we're also making preparations to do what we call advanced support.
Saying all schools?
Of course. Because if it's a day school, that is a vendor that cooks for them. But if it's a boarding school, every school should have all their food allocations by this time, so they will be able to cook. However, we're also going to do the 20% advance apportionment, and we are working on it right now, so that will be going to the schools within a very short period of time. Food is there. Children can eat, so they can breathe.
Beyond the food, what else do they need that government is working on to send to them?
What we do is that there are some other fee items like examination fee and all those things that we disperse to schools. Those ones go to the schools directly. School uniforms, they awarded the contract, so the contractors will be distributing the school uniforms to them, and the house dress and all those things will be going to them. Those ones we pay for it, but the money doesn't go to the schools. That is why the amount of money that get to the schools is not very substantial. But admission fees go to the schools, examination fees go, all those ID cards and everything goes to the schools. But those items that we pay for, the money doesn't go to them. And that's why they don't get substantial amount of money, but they get advanced apportionment that they use for what we call perishables. So if they want to buy some tomatoes, they have money to buy it. And if they want to, by the time the exams is coming online, they also have to have the money to get that done.
That's the Deputy Education Minister, Dr. Osei Oduchum, there speaking to Matilda Bomaga. Let's go over to the central region where Richard Kojonyako is standing by. He's been looking at preparations so far and what's happening in various schools there. Hello, Richard. Which schools have you been to so far?
Well, I've been to St. Augustine's and Fantatin Ugwa Secondary Technical Academy of Christ the King, University Practice Senior High School, and about 2 others. And today has been generally smooth, except that parents do have concerns. One, they say that the awards have been placed in schools that are not boarding schools. Some of them are coming from Accra, from Kumasi, Swedru, and its environs. And they are concerned where their children are going to sleep, and then they have to, the fact that they have to go in for some private hotels that comes with some cost. And so that is where they are taking up with the school authority. But the school authority say that they have not also been given some quotas as far as boarding is concerned. So in schools such as Academy of Christ, Grand Secondary Technical, and a host of others that are not entirely boarding facilities. You remember that last year when the placement was done, this same issue arose, and the Ministry of Education, the GS, had to step in to give them some quota. Some were given about 50, others were 100, 120 boarding school quota, so that the students that do not come from Cape Coast would also benefit from the system. But it seems that that facility that was awarded to last year, the students last year, is completely missing, and the heads are urging the parents to exercise some restraint so that they could be sorted out. They know that the ministry might be working on a thing like that, but for now, those who registered and have in place as gold and green, all of them are to come to school tomorrow, where the orientation will start. But many say that they do not come from the community. They do not come from the community, and they want. They are looking for where to even sleep for their children to even take part in the orientation.
And they're not getting that. How do they feel, Richard? And I don't know if they shared this with you about the double track system now that it's actually here. You know, sometimes you hear about the story, but when you get confronted with it, you get to have a different reaction. How do they feel about it at this point?
Well, I mean, it's a mixture. Some feel that, well, it's a good thing, but for the fact that their children are going to stay home for 41 days, and their children are eager to come to school, and it happens that they have to stay in the house for 41 days while their colleagues will be in school. They are looking for a situation where they could occupy their children up to the 41st day, where they would also have to return to school. So it's a mixed feeling, but others are also saying that, well, it will afford them the opportunity to buy their other stuff that the children would need, and they have to start preparing for that. So it's really a mixture. But even within the teachers have been asking questions, because they are yet to be briefed who is going on track 1, who is going on track 2, and so some of the heads told me that on Wednesday, from tomorrow and Wednesday, they will be holding their staff general meeting, where the issue of the double track system would be explained to the teachers themselves. But already the heads of department and other key officials in the various senior high schools are in the know, and so they know about the tracking system.
So back to the school and what's happening there. As we speak, you say that students are coming in, the teachers are getting some, the parents are getting some assurances from teachers that they sort out the problems that they have. Have matters been, has the situation been better as we speak?
Well, yes. A short while ago, I left in fact from senior high school, and the school was completely empty because some of the parents came very early, and they divided the registration processes into like 5 into the various departments, and so the parent has to just walk in. They register what is demanded of the parent is their birth certificate, and in some cases the parent did not come with a birth certificate, and they said that it's a key requirement. Some also had to go back to their schools for the heads of the junior high schools to stamp their placement papers for them before they bring them out. So others had to be turned away so that they come tomorrow. So others had to travel long distances where they school and had to sort all of these things. But generally, it's been smooth and things are normal.
Okay. Here in Accra, finally, Richard, before I let you go, we're hearing of reports that parents will have to, especially for those who benefited from free SHS for the first year and those who are moving to second year, that they'll have to, parents will have to bear the cost for school uniforms and some teaching and learning material. Do you have any such reports from there?
Well, such reports have not really come, because today the concentration was really on the double track system, those who would be going on track 1 and track 2, or the gold and the green system. But this issue is yet to surface among the senior high schools in the central region, because today was today that the continuing students reported, and so they are yet to come to terms with all of these things that the ministry is talking about.
Richard, thank you so much for that update from the central region. And as you heard him, he's been to basically all the the schools involved in that region. He's been there bringing us that report. Let's head to the Volta region where Ivy Setoji is standing by for me. Hello, Ivy.
Good afternoon.
Ivy, what's the situation in the Volta region?
The situation is okay. The parents are actually complaining about the fact that about the double track system. They said it's okay. They are okay with it. But the problem is when their children will have to stay at home for some weeks, and then they need teachers to teach them. That means they will have to pay for extra classes for them at home. But they want government authorities to work around that to see if those children who will stay at home at that particular time can get some tuition in the school. That's some kind of arrangement. And also, they are also saying that some of the schools are saying that if you bring your child to school today to take the necessary documents, the kits and everything, and you don't bring her to school, he or she doesn't report to school on Tuesday, that is tomorrow, her place will be taken by another. So these are some of the worries. Aside that, everything is going on smoothly from the school side.
Which of these schools do you visited, Ivy?
I visited Ola Senior High, Mauko, Mauli, and I had some support from the southern parts of the region for us.
Well, you've been speaking to Ola, the headmistress of the Ola Girls Senior High, for example.
Yeah.
What are their peculiar problems there? What do they tell you? And what do parents generally feel about the double track system?
Well, for the headmistress, she is okay with what is going on. There is nothing, there is no problem at this particular time. But what the parents are saying or worried about is the fact that, let's say, children for the double track system, they will stay in the house for 3 months, for example, and then those who are not so good or the average students may forget certain things in school. So they may have to arrange for private teachers. That would mean another cost to the parents.
Okay.
So they are asking government to make some kind of arrangement that when the students are at home, they can still come back to school for some extra classes before they go back to school. Yeah, so that is the only problem they have.
Did you get to capture for us, Ivy, the demeanor of some of these students if they came along with their parents, which I'm sure they did?
They said something on the whole issue. Some of them said, even though they didn't want to talk on record, but they are saying that, okay, with this sub system, they can stop them who something tied school and get some small coins. We'll have the opportunity.
Okay, Ivy, I'll have you give me a wrap up what you just said, because we didn't quite get you. We were losing you.
Yeah, so the students are okay with that system. They said they may have the time. They will have all the time to do other things. Maybe go for computer classes or other issues, or maybe we'll do some small works in town and get some coins. That's some views. And some of them are also worried about the fact that they will stay at home for that period and may not go to school and learn anything, but just have to depend on their books. So these are some of the issues.
Ivy, thank you so much. Ivy from the Volta region. We've moved from the central region. We've been to the Volta region. Let's now head to the Ashanti region, where Love FM's Asensu Mensah has been looking at some of the schools there for us. Hello, Asensu, what can you report from where you are?
Yeah, Gifty, this morning we set off from the office to various schools. So far we have visited about 5 schools within the metropolis. We started monitoring from St. Louis Senior High School, and then we also went to TI Ahmadiyya Secondary School and Kumasi Anglican Senior High and Pukwari School, and then also Kumasi Secondary Technical School. We went there. But Gifty, the situation is almost the same over there. We actually saw guardians with their wards in a long queue, and then they are trying to secure admission for their wards. Some have been in the school as early as 6 a.m., but the process, which is supposed to be short, appears to be cumbersome. So some parents are worried about the slow pace at which the process is actually. So you see, basically that is what is going on. But we also found out from the parents, and then we wanted to know their take on the double track system, how they understand it.
Exactly.
And then some parents are actually they are hopeful that the double track system will actually increase the enrollment in the various senior high school. So basically, this is what has been happening in some of the schools that we have visited so far in the Kumasi metropolis.
Aside from the parents, did you get to speak to any of these, those coming in for the first time and those who are moving from their various classes to the next classes? Did you get to speak to them? What did they say?
Yeah, we spoke to some of the students who will be coming from tomorrow. They are saying they are on the green list. You know, they've been categorized into the green colors and the yellow colors. So tomorrow, the green ones will be starting school, and they are actually happy. And then they are hopeful that the double track system, which some people are saying that they are going to have some short time with teachers, is going to actually help them. And then some of their friends who wouldn't have the opportunity to be in school also get a chance. That is when the other category also get a chance. After the 40 days, they also be enrolled. So they are happy basically. And also some of the continuing students are also happy that their other partners will be joining them on campus going forward. So basically it's more like a mixed feeling from students and parents in general.
Very well. And school authorities have everything they need to start the semester?
Yeah, actually I spoke with a headmaster of the King in the high school, Mr. Bodu, and then he told me that they actually had a boardroom meeting, and then everything is in place, and then they are hoping that things will fall into places as they actually planned, and then everything is moving forward as they actually planned. Yes, please.
Nana, so thank you very much for that update. We will be going back to them in our subsequent bulletins as and when. But if you know, tomorrow school begins for a lot of our senior high school students, and with the introduction of the double track system, it has been a major topic of discussion.